Hi, welcome to Cooking with Cori. I'm your host, Chef Cori Doern, and today I am going to be making not one, but two fantastic Foodland Ontario recipes. Yum, 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 good things grow. I know you sang it with me. I know it. I could feel the love. I could feel you singing it with me. So I'm really excited to do this recipe because one of the things that's absolutely beautiful during this time of year is lamb. And I thought what I would do is lamb burgers. Yeah, you heard me. I'm going to do a stuffed lamb burger. It's fantastic. It's called a Feta Stuffed Lamb Burger, and it's a Foodland Ontario recipe. And so I'm going to start off my recipe with about a pound and a half of ground lamb. And to that, I'm going to add, as you can see, I've got all of my ingredients ready to go. I've got my mise en place in front of me, mise en place, everything in its place. And in my mise en place, I'm going to stuff these lamb burgers with some beautiful Ontario feta, which is an Ontarian sheep that produced this. I've got 2 cloves of Ontario garlic that I've already minced. I've got about a 1/4 cup of quick oats. I've got some cumin, oregano, basil, and black pepper as my spice blend, and my egg is my binder. So I've got my handy dandy gloves on so I don't cross-contaminate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat this lovely farm fresh Ontario egg. It happened to be a brown egg. I don't know if you know this, but the color of the egg is determined by the type of chicken, and sometimes you can guess the color of the egg by looking at the chicken's ears to tell whether you're going to get a white egg or a brown egg. Don't believe me? Ask a farmer. That's really important. Actually, when I tell you stuff, it's because chances are I've heard it from a farmer or somebody who knows their stuff about eggs. So to this pound and a half of lamb, I'm going to add 1 beaten egg. I'm going to add all of my spices that I have put together just for this recipe. And again, that was oregano and basil and cumin and black pepper. And I'm going to add my quick oats as a nice binder as well. And look for the quick oats because they only take about a minute to cook. And I've got my 2 cloves of minced garlic right here. Okay, there might be 3 cloves in there, but I really, 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 really love garlic. And some feta. Yum, yum, yum. And I'm going to put that into my bowl here. And I'm going to mix everything. Now, here's the important thing about mixing a burger, whether you're using lamb or chicken or beef. The important thing is to not over mix. You want to incorporate the ingredients, but you don't want to run the risk of taking out the fat that is in the meat or having all of these lovely ingredients that you're putting into your lamb burger ending up on your gloves or on your hand. You really want that fat to stay inside of the lamb. And you want your ingredients not to become all mushy into a paste. You want to be able to identify these beautiful ingredients. Because if you end up, over mixing your meat, what will happen is the stuff that makes it moist, like the fat, is going to end up on your gloves and your hand, and you're just going to end up washing that away. And we don't want that to happen. So I want to make sure that all the yummy flavors are incorporated, but not overly mixed. Okay, I also have, I should have mentioned this, beautiful rosemary. I have rosemary that has been minced up, about 2 tablespoons. Again, with rosemary, it's kind of like salt. You don't want to add too much. You want to add just the right amount. So it's so good to have all of these lovely, lovely ingredients. So again, rosemary, cumin, basil, oregano, yum, yum, yum. You can see it's lovely and incorporated. It actually smells really good. And I want to make sure that my burgers are not too big. I want to make sure that they're about palm-sized and flat. Because the flatter they are, the faster they're going to cook. And this is the thing. You cannot cook burgers, whether they're beef or lamb. You cannot cook them to rare. You must cook your burgers all the way through. And the reason for that is because the bacteria on your meat is on the surface. So the only way you can get around serving a burger, a lamb burger, beef burger, where it's medium, is to do a quick cook on the exterior of your meat before grinding it. And then that way you've killed all the bacteria that's on the surface. So here I have a beautiful burger, and I'm going to put it right down onto my grill that I've pre-greased. Oh yeah, that's the sound I want to hear. And these are not going to take too long to cook. I'm going to do a few of them. And the other reason why I like to do a flat burger as opposed to a round burger, if you're going to do a round burger, turn it into a smash burger. That's all I'm saying. The other reason I want to do a flat burger instead of a round burger is because you can stack your burgers. So not only are they going to be cooked quickly, but they're going to be stackable. So if you're really, jonesing for a big burger, it's okay. You can have more than one patty on it. So here's another beautiful lamb patty. Folks, I wish you would write to me and tell me how to invent smell-o-vision, because it just smells so good in here. This is a really no-fail recipe. I wouldn't change anything. I know you know me to usually make suggestions and say you could do this and you could do that. And that's the key thing about these recipes. They're a guideline. I'm always telling you, recipes are a guideline. You are the chef in your kitchen. You know what you like best. Make it for your palate. You don't like lamb? Then don't use lamb. Use chicken. Do a combination of meats. You could use, Ontario pork and Ontario veal if you want. Whatever makes you feel good. But you want to kick it up a notch and make some really great flavors with it, then you're going to want to add feta and rosemary, the oregano, the basil. All of those things are what make this burger absolutely delicious. So while my burgers are a-cooking, and they look fantastic, let me tell you, my friends, I am going to move this out of the way and not cross-contaminate while I tell you the other very yummy, yummy thing that I'm making, which is a fantastic Orzo salad, which also features Ontario feta. How yummy is that? What I've done to save some time is I've taken the Orzo. I cooked about a cup. The recipe calls for about a cup and a half. So I cooked about a cup's worth, which turned into a significant amount. And then, because I'm doing a salad, I rinsed it under cold water, and then I tossed it with some olive oil. When we come back, I'm going to tell you some other neat things I did while the burgers are cooking. See you in a minute. Hi, welcome back to Cooking with Cori. I'm your host, Chef Cori Doern, and I am making two fantastic recipes for Foodland Ontario today. And they are stuffed lamb burgers, which, oh my gosh, it smells so good. And I'm doing a lovely Orzo salad to go with it. All of these ingredients are all locally sourced, I'm happy to say, from farms and local grocers. The best tip I can give you is when you're going to do a recipe and you're inspired to do a Foodland Ontario recipe, go to your local market, because chances are they have a Foodland setup there that's letting you know everything that's in season. And if you don't know what's in season, then you can always go to the food guide that is already on the Foodland Ontario website. So I'm going to do a little press just to give these a nice little grill mark. I'm not a person who likes to flip my burgers multiple times. I'm a person who likes to flip my burgers maybe once or twice because I want to keep them nice and juicy. So let me just see what's going on under here. Oh, that's looking pretty good. I think that's looking good. Oh, yeah, Floyd. These are some nice looking burgers. Okay, yum. So now we know where the hot pot is, hot spot on the pan. And that happens too, People say, is there anything I don't love? I don't love not knowing what temperature somebody's oven is. Some ovens run hot, some ovens run cold, you just don't know. So I've got this grill pan going. I'm going to turn the temperature down to medium. You could do this in your oven. As you can see, you could do it on your stovetop in a grill pan. This is actually an amazing recipe for you to barbecue, but since we don't have a barbecue, we're going to go this way. So to go with my beautiful lamb burgers while they cook, As I was saying before the break, I made some orzo, which is a pasta, and it kind of looks rice-like, and it's really, really great. It's very versatile pasta. And to this, I'm going to do like a Greek-inspired salad to go with our beautiful lamb burger. So I've got about a cup and a half of orzo cooked already in here. I did rinse it off with cold water so it wouldn't be too starchy. And then what I did was I tossed it in some olive oil, and that's a really great tip for you guys at home for any pasta. If you're making it in advance and you don't want it to spoil, make your pasta, drain your pasta. You don't have to rinse it, but do toss it in a good quality olive oil, which is what I have here. So we need to have olives in our salad. We need to have some beautiful Ontario vine-ripened tomatoes. I've got some gorgeous Ontario bell peppers here. It's about a half a cup's worth of yellow and red. I've got a gorgeous Ontario field cucumber, English cuke, actually. And I've got some red onion here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing, because I'm sure you hate to see my arm go up and down. I'm going to do a nice little dice on my peppers. And if you've ever watched the show, then you know that I like to turn my peppers upside down and just cut them as they are shaped. I find that that is really a good way to avoid getting pith and seeds. And so I'm just doing a nice little dice on it. And I'm going to make the dice uniform with all of my ingredients. So my yellow peppers are going to be the dice the same way as my tomato will be diced, as will my cucumber. You could use, if you want, green peppers. They will add a bit more of a, they're not as sweet as the yellow pepper. And as I understand it, and I'm quoting, again, a farmer friend, but, the sweetest of the peppers, of the bell peppers, is the red one, then the orange, then the yellow, and then the green, in that order. And if you're a person who's picky about peppers, then I would say the bitter part of the pepper is actually this part right here, and you can always fillet it. When you're cutting your pepper, you can just fillet it right here and take this out, because this is a little bit bitter. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, by filleting, I mean you take your knife, you just guide it underneath, because you don't want to remove a lot of the flesh, and you just take off this part, like filleting it. So let me just cut up my gorgeous peppers here, and they add a lovely crunch and sweetness to the orzo. Those burgers smell so good. You know, it's like patting your belly and rubbing your head at the same time. You want to make sure that it's not overcooked. Oh, they're beautiful. Okay, I'm going to turn off the heat on this and let them finish cooking. They are on a hot grill pan, and like I said, I want the insides to be cooked all the way through because I did not sear the lamb ahead of time. I know you're going, what are you talking about? You could have a steak that's blue or rare because you're cooking the bacteria off. But when you grind meat, you cannot unless you do a cook. So I'm going to say play it safe and always make sure that your burgers, whether they're beef or chicken, obviously, or lamb, you want to make sure that they are cooked all the way through. So I'm going to take these lovely peppers and I'm going to add it directly to my orzo. And you could use any pasta, really, that you wanted for it. I just think the orzo looks really nice because it kind of looks ricey, as I said before. And it has a really pretty look to it. And I'm going to add some diced onion. And again, for this recipe, I chose these two recipes because I also like the carryover of the ingredients. I'm never a fan when I go shopping for ingredients and then I end up with a whole bunch of said ingredient left over and I'm not really sure what to do with it. For this, I find, I've got red onion in both the recipes. I've got feta, I've got tomato, I've got cucumber, yum, yum, yum. Do I need to say any more, really? So right now I'm just doing a little dice on the onion, as you can see. It's very tasty. I don't need a lot. There we go. And it's all diced, ready to rock and roll. You guys have seen me cut onions so many times that I'm pretty sure you know what I'm going to say before I even say it. Keep the root on. Keep the root on, cut off the tip. The root will keep your onion in a nice state. And if you want, you can always pull back that first layer here to give yourself something to hold on to while you're cutting or dicing your onion. You can still hear the sizzle going on with those burgers. So like I said, I'm also going to do a dice on these tomatoes. These are so pretty. And you want to make sure that when you're in the kitchen and you're cutting, you want to make sure that your knives are sharp. I once heard somebody say that they do not like sharp knives, and they said because it's a weapon, and they're right. It is a weapon. You want to make sure that your knives are nice and sharp, especially when you're cutting tomatoes, because if it's not sharp enough and it's not going through, you're working your arm too much, your blade is going to slip, and the next thing you know, you've stabbed yourself. And you think I'm kidding, but I'm not. Unfortunately, I've seen that happen one too many times. So remember that you got to be careful with it. When we come back, I'm going to put all of this together for one tasty meal. You stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to Cooking with Cori. I'm your host, Chef Cori Doern, and today I'm making two fabulous recipes from Foodland Ontario. The first one that we were doing that is now absolutely gorgeous on the grill are stuffed lamb burgers. Yum. They're stuffed with rosemary and they're stuffed with feta, and they've got some quick oats in there. They've got basil and oregano and some black pepper. Yum, yum, yum. An egg to put everything together. And I'm also making a really beautiful Orzo salad featuring Ontario tomatoes, Ontario peppers, Ontario cucumber, Ontario onion, and even Ontario feta. Yum, yum, yum. Can you tell that I love where I live and the food that is available to all of us? I'm telling you, we are so lucky. So I'm going to now add my cucumber. And what I did was I cut off an edge so that I can have a nice flat cucumber to start cutting instead of having it roll all over the cutting board. And it's from cutting it that way that I can then do another dice. I can get all fancy pants with you and, you know, cut it like I do the onion, but I think this is probably the easiest way to go. And it just has that, you know, sometimes you can tell when a cucumber is going to be sweet just by the scent of it, and it really is. The exterior is where the sweetness is, in the flesh part, and then this center part is actually less sweet. So if you don't like a food, I always encourage you to break down the food that you're saying you don't care for. So if you don't care for tomatoes, why don't you try tomatoes without the seeds and the pulp and just do the skin? Or you don't like tomatoes, but let me ask you, do you like tomato sauce? Do you like ketchup? You know, you cannot like something in its raw state, but once it's been changed into something else, you might just enjoy it a little bit more. So as you can see, I've done the cucumber the same kind of dice as I did with the tomato and the peppers. And the onion was a little bit of a smaller one because, you know, you could have giant chunks of onion if you liked it, but that's totally up to you. So before I mix this up with my dressing and my feta, I am just going to do a couple of slices of cucumber rounds, because if you're going to do a lamb burger, you may as well be inspired by the flavors that go with all of those ingredients that we put into the lamb. So I'm going to have some cucumber ready to go. I've already sliced up a little bit of red onion as well. And I'm going to slice this beautiful tomato. And again, having a sharp knife absolutely is so important when you're cutting things, especially tomatoes, because you want to be able to have that blade go through it like butter. If it's not, and it's just running back and forth, like doing this, oh, I can't cut it, and then you want to do this, not a good idea. You always want to make sure you have a nice sharp knife and that it just glides through. So now we've got our lovely tomato, we've got our cucumber, I've got some olives for the salad. I'm going to put that here. And I think what I'm going to do, because this is going to look so gorgeous, is to take some beautiful tzatziki. And tzatziki is made with Greek yogurt and cucumber and garlic, with all the moisture kind of drained out of it. If you want, you should look up some past Cooking with Cori episodes, because we did a beautiful tzatziki on one of those episodes. And you can also write into me, and I'm happy to give you the recipe for the tzatziki. So I'm going to take a lovely burger and put one burger right here and another lovely burger right here on top of our gorgeous tzatziki with some lovely tomato. Doesn't that look pretty? And some cucumber. And if you wanted, you could stick a lovely little olive on top with, like in a toothpick, with a little piece of feta too if you wanted to get really fancy pants with it. And now I have my gorgeous feta here that I'm going to add on top. But in my Orzo salad, I've got some red wine vinegar, about 3 tablespoons. I've just added to about 6 tablespoons of olive oil. I've also got oregano and basil and salt in here. And here, yes. So just to confirm, because I'm doing 2 recipes, sometimes my brain gets a little kooky. The dressing has got the oregano and the basil in it, and oil and red wine vinegar. The burgers, the lamb burgers, are stuffed with feta, rosemary, and cumin and black pepper. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And basil and oregano are for this lovely salad. Now again, you can put whatever you want into the burger. It's totally up to you. But the ingredients that I saw on the website when I went to foodlandontario.ca and I saw the idea of the stuffed lamb burger, I thought those flavors are fantastic. The only thing I would gauge is with rosemary. Either you love it or you don't. So remember, you can always add more. You can't necessarily take it away once it's put in there. So I'm now going to add my dried ingredients to my vinegar and oil, and give it a nice little mix. If you have a mason jar, you can just add everything together and give it a really, really good solid shake. Yum, yum, yum. And when you're cooking so fast, like you know me, I'm a person who's inspired by recipes, but I kind of like to make them my own. And I'm going to use all of this dressing, mainly because there is so much orzo and it is a pasta that it's just going to suck up the flavor really, really, really quickly. Oh my goodness. This looks and smells yummy. This is really, really, really beautiful. And the feta that's going to go on top is just going to make it even more so. What I like to do is I like to incorporate these flavors together just because of the size of the bowl that I'm using, number one. But also I want to make sure that everything, like I've got, when you're doing a spoonful of this, that you get a spoonful of everything. I can really smell the lamb burgers, the cumin and the rosemary coming together, with that saltiness from the feta. So, so gorgeous. All right, and I've got this gorgeous, gorgeous Ontario feta that I'm going to put on top, just a little bit on top first. I know my hands are getting all mucky, but there's nothing about this that would be considered cross-contaminating at this point. There we go. And I'm just going to fold this through. And maybe as I fold this through, I'm going to put some olives. You can get olives that don't have the pit in, but they don't taste as good as the olives that do have the pit in. I'm just going to say it. That's my opinion. If you disagree, by all means, use the olives that don't have the pit in it and be happy about it. I like using Kalamata olives for this recipe because they are, you know, very, very Greek and very, very, very tasty. And I've got some more feta on top. And there we have it, this beautiful, beautiful orzo Greek salad featuring Ontario feta, along with beautiful lamb burgers stuffed with Ontario feta. If you want this recipe, go to rogerstv.com or to chefcori.com or to foodlandontario.ca. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy.